Hello lovely, and welcome back to the Makeup Hunter. If you haven't met me before, hello, I'm Laura, and in today's video we are going to be completing the second part of my eyeshadow palette collection video. This is the final part of a two-part series, and we are going to be looking at more of my higher end palettes in today's video. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in watching, then please do stick around and hang out with me today. Subscribe if you would like to see more of these kind of videos with me. I also do get ready with me's, makeup tutorials. I share my collection and I'll do occasional declutters. So I would really appreciate it if you would come back here in the future and see more content from me. If you like this kind of content, then do please give me a like and leave me a comment. And without further ado, let's get into my eyeshadow palette collection. Okay, so before I start the second drawer, I thought I would go through my mini Natasha Denona palettes, as I keep these in a different area, so I've pulled them all over to go through. So I'll start off with the mini Baby Glam palette. Unfortunately, I didn't really research this enough before I bought it, as all of these shadows are existing in like the existing Glam palette. I have, however, found good use for it, even though I have the bigger Glam palette. I find this is a really great one to take traveling, because you have a full look in here, and it's just a nice, easy, everyday kind of palette to just throw in your makeup bag. So even though if it was sort of my time again, I wouldn't buy this again, because I've basically duplicated shades I already have, but I have found good use for it. Then we have the mini retro palette. This I think is just so beautiful for any time of the year, but especially the spring. I love greens, and I love the combination of this green and these pinks together. I think it's really soft, feminine, really pretty looks that you can get out of it. So I'm so glad to have that in my collection. Then I have one that I haven't used yet, the mini nude palette. A few of these I did hold off getting for quite a long time, because I've got so many of the bigger palettes, but I'd seen quite a lot about this particular palette and how it was great for like everyday looks and such an easy palette to use. So I did pick it up, as well as another couple at the same time. And I do think this is really, really stunning. I can't wait to use it. Then I have the mini Love palette. This is one that I got for my mum as well. She loves her purples, and I think this is a really beautiful colour story for the autumn and winter. Really beautiful palette. I like the fact that it's got good depth in here with that one matte shade, and that even though you've only got 5 shades, you can get such a variety of looks because of the different, like the shimmers are all completely different from one another. So I do really love that about this palette. Then another one that I picked up when I picked up the mini nude is the mini Glam palette. I have actually used this one, and this is so stunning. It complements the bigger Glam palette really well. None of the shades in here are in the bigger Glam palette, I don't think, and they just work really well together or separately. I really loved the look that I came out with when I used this. I felt really you know, really glam, as the name would suggest. I think it's such a stunning little palette. Then we have the mini gold. Is this the mini gold? Yeah, the mini gold palette. This was one of the first ones that I got. I haven't actually used this one yet. I took this away on holiday with me and I didn't get round to using it, but these are just my tones. This is like one of my favorite kind of color stories, as well as the mini Metropolis and the mini Star. I think these three together are just absolute perfection. So yeah, the mini gold palette, I missed out on buying the bigger gold palette, so I'm really glad to have the mini one, and I just think it's just so beautiful. Honestly, one of my favorite color stories. Same with the Baby Glam. I kind of wish I hadn't purchased this mini Metropolis palette because I didn't do my research properly and the shades are repeated. I think the only shade that is brand new is this brown, which is a very generic dark brown. But again, like the Baby Glam one, I have taken this traveling with me, and it's perfect. I've used it a few times and I absolutely love the looks that I've created with it. So whilst I wouldn't buy it again, I am glad to have it in my collection. Then I have the mini Star, another one that I missed out on buying the bigger palette of, and I just think this is incredibly beautiful. I like mixing these two, which is what I did when I took them away on holiday with me. I would use the mattes from here and the shimmers from here, as well as the gold, and I do think they complement each other really beautifully. Again, I just love the colour story of this. I think this is like the perfect kind of autumnal like colour palette. And then one that I've used a fair few times and I absolutely love is the mini Zendo palette. The larger Zendo palette is one of my absolute favourite palettes within my collection, and I know that a lot of people didn't like that palette. It ended up in like people's like worst makeup of the year kind of thing, and I love it. I've used it quite a lot. Granted, I don't use many of the blue, like the greeny blue side. I tend to stick to the more warm tone side, but I love that palette and I love this one as well. I like combining the two together because I think the mini and the larger one complement each other perfectly. And that's all my mini Natasha Denona palettes. Okay, so we are on to my next drawer of eyeshadow palettes, and this one is much fuller than the first drawer that we went through. This contains sort of my higher end palettes and some indie brands. More of my like favourite palettes are in here, and this drawer weighs so much. It's so heavy. And when I do open this drawer, I do feel a little bit overwhelmed. So yeah, let's go through these. So straight on the top, we have two of my large Beauty Bay palettes. These are the 42 colour palettes. This one is definitely my favourite. This is the neutral palette. And as you can see, it's just a stunningly beautiful neutral palette, full of all the shades that you could need for an everyday look or a super glam, you know, going out on the evening kind of a look. The shimmers, the Beauty Bay shimmer formula is incredible. They're so creamy and pigmented that they look like liquid metal when they're on the eyes. Some are more subtle than others. I think you can actually see that when you look at the palette, like this shimmer say in comparison to this one, but they are just incredibly beautiful. They are such good value for money. Everybody raves about the Beauty Bay palettes, and it's with, you know, it's not without merit. They are well worth the price. Then we have the Earthy palette. I've said it before and I'll say it again, green is my favourite colour, so when a green palette is released I just cannot resist. I did a 3 looks 1 palette video with this, but it was an older video when I was using my digital camera, so the quality is not the best, but the quality of this palette is absolutely phenomenal. As you can see, the shimmers are just next level beautiful. the mattes blend so well, and I love the depth that's within this palette, and you know, for a green palette you can get so many different looks, so many different tones. It's a really stunning palette. I would like to pick up you know, at some point, the Midnight palette, which is the blue and purple, and the Berries palette, which is all the pinks. I have held off getting those, but I do think I would like to pick them up one day, maybe put them on my Christmas list or something, but where I will store them, that's the question. As you can see, this drawer is completely full. So I will start now going through my Natasha Denona palettes, as they are sort of all here. Actually, no, what we'll do is we'll work from this side forward. So sitting on top here is my only two Mothership palettes by Pat McGrath. So I have Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction. This one I haven't used yet, I'm just saving it for a special occasion. I didn't pay full price for these, I got them during the Black Friday sale, and I am planning to pick up some more Pat McGrath in the Black Friday sale coming. I wouldn't pay full price for Pat McGrath because she's always doing sales and has such major like discounts on her stuff. So I think this is such a beautiful palette. I love this colour story. I love the shimmers that are in here. Obviously these 4 special shades. They're not the same formula as in her other Motherships. Like the ones in like this one here they look like plastic. They're like a baked gelée formula, whereas this is like a pressed powder formula. But yeah, I think this is so lovely. I keep getting these out just to look at them, and I have kept the boxes because I think the artwork is just incredible. If my room was set up a little bit differently, I would probably put these on display because I think they're like pieces of art. Then I have Divine Rose. I really did struggle to choose the 2 that I wanted to pick up when I did that Black Friday order, because there was several that I wanted. I really want Utopian Dream, but at the time that I purchased these, it was out of stock. So I think I might pick up Utopian Dream in the Black Friday sales this year. But this is Divine Rose. I have used this. I used this for evening out to a fancy restaurant with my mum and my aunt, and I felt so incredibly beautiful in the look that I created. These are the special shades, so as you can see they are a different formula. They are that baked gelée formula, but the mattes worked really beautifully, and the normal shimmers were stunning. I have used quite a few of the shades within this palette, and I was so incredibly impressed with it. I do get the hype with the Mothership palettes. I mean, they weigh a ton. The packaging weighs a ton. It's a beveled, real good quality mirror, and the outer packaging, the box with the artwork is stunning. But I still wouldn't pay the £115 that they cost, like full price. I think I got the 2 for about, I think I got 2 for the price of 1 basically. So that's what I mean with the deals that she does on her website. It's crazy to me to buy them full price. Then another one that I got at a decent discount is the Christmas one. This is the Celestial Odyssey. This was from a couple of years ago, and this is what that one looks like. Only a few mattes in here, but obviously the reason that you buy Pat McGrath is for the shimmers, not the mattes. None of these are the special shades, they are just that standard shimmer formula, but they are incredibly beautiful. And even though there are only 4 mattes within this palette, you can create a look just with this palette. I have done several looks just using this palette, and I think it's really beautiful. I wish I could have got hold of the very first one she did that had a lot of the it was the shades from the Star Wars palettes that she did that had a lot of like purpley colours in there, and I wish I could have picked that one up. One of the very first Pat McGrath things that I got was the Mothership Sublime Golden Opulence. This was one that they did for I think it was like Chinese New Year or something like that, and this was massively discounted. I got this for such a steal, and it was a way for me to try like the Pat McGrath formula. Not anything super special colour story wise, and it's one that I have considered decluttering a few times, but I just can't quite bring myself to do it. I hate the packaging of this one. It's so awkward. You know, it doesn't stay open, you have to hold it open. But I have used it a few times and created really pretty looks with it, so it's not one that I am sort of ready to let go of, but it's also not one that I would buy again. Then I have two more from Pat McGrath. I have another couple of smaller palettes, but these are the Blitz Astral Quads. So this one is the shade Ritualistic Rose, and I actually got this one free in the order that I did on Black Friday. I think this is so beautiful. The shades in here are just out of this world, and it's obviously it's not a palette that you could use to create a look with just these 4 shades. To me, I need a matte, but it is a brilliant companion palette. So say use this one and this one together to create a look would be absolutely perfect. And then this one I picked up when I got this one. Again, this was very heavily discounted. This is, it doesn't have the shade on the actual packaging. I think it was bronze something it was called, I can't remember. But this was my first experience of the Pat McGrath special shades. This one is so stunning. And I've used 3 out of the 4 shades and really love this. And then to finish my Pat McGrath collection off, I have the 2 from last year that she did, the little mini palettes. So these were the Celestial Nirvana eyeshadow palette. This one is in the shade Bronze Bliss. Really pretty palette, great companion palette again. And then this one is in the shade Nude Allure. Again, I didn't pay full price for these, I got them at a discount. Again, I wouldn't use these completely on their own to build a look. I would use them in combination with another one, as the mattes that are in here are a very dark matte, like an outer corner kind of colour, and I need like a transition. So I have used both of them and I've thoroughly enjoyed the looks that I've created with them. Okay, and now we'll work on the little bits that are on top. So I only have one Rowan quad, and it's one that I always forget about. These are cream shadows, but they're the sort of shadow that you have to warm up with your finger to sort of get the payoff. They are quite a dry cream formula, but they are really stunning and they finish off a look really nicely. Okay, I've just adjusted the camera slightly. Then I have two mini Petit Fours palettes from Viseart. These are great little palettes for traveling and for on the go. You do have enough here to create a full look. I really love this one from Moi. I think the looks are so pretty and soft that you can create with this, and it's sort of a no-brainer palette. You haven't got many shades, so you don't have to think too much about it, and the quality of these is really great. I must admit though, when I bought these, they were a lot smaller than I expected them to be. Then I have the Praline one. Again, I can create a full look with this, even though there is only one matte. This shade here, which is more of like a satin than a shimmer, can be used sort of within the crease to build a look. So another one that I have really enjoyed. And then my only other Viseart palette is the Mink Set Tendu palette. I really love this one. I had this in my last Shop My Stash rotation, and I really love the look that I created with it. I like this palette in the autumn. There are only 5 mattes in here, but it's enough to create several different looks. Like, it's not a palette that you can only create one sort of look, or each look looks the same. It's quite a versatile palette, and another one that is great to sort of throw in your makeup bag for travel. Then I have my Dior palettes. I absolutely love my Dior Quints. This one is Dior Sprint. This was one of the Colour Games special editions for the Olympics, and this was, since this came out, I think they've reformulated twice. So all the ones I have which are sort of newer are now considered discontinued because they've been reformulated. So Dior do that a lot, and I find it quite annoying. But yeah, this is a beautiful palette, one that I've used quite a lot. I absolutely love this orange. I think it's really unusual. The rest of the mattes in here are very basic, but you've got like that couple, those 2 little pops. They don't come off totally vibrant on the eye, they are more subtle, which I find with a lot of like luxury palettes, the formulas are very soft, very delicate. They're not going to be like your Glam Shop or Pastel Roses shimmers, which, you know, you can see from space. Then we have Nude Dress. This is a fairly new one to my collection. This is one that my mum gave me. I absolutely love these sort of colour stories. This is a palette that I could use every single day and not get bored, because it's just a beautiful, easy to wear colour story. Then Grand Belle is one that I had as a Christmas present one year. It is a very Christmassy palette. Again, this is one that I would use as a companion palette, which is how I do use it, and then use the matte in the middle as like a shadow wing. Really beautiful. The shimmers in here are stunning. Then I have Soft Cashmere, another one that my mum gave me, and another one that I could use for every day and not get bored. This one is more cool toned, with the taupes bordering on like grey. This one is really beautiful and really elegant. Then I have Golden Snow. This was a limited edition Christmas one and was a gift from my parents for Christmas. This one is all shimmer. They are a very, as I said, very subtle kind of a shimmer. They're not in your face, but they are a beautiful like lid topper, just to finish off a look. Really stunning. And then I have Rouge Trafalgar. This was another one given to me by my mum, which she wasn't using, and I used this for an evening out that was actually a date, my only date last year. And I really loved the look that I created with it. I felt really pretty in it, and the makeup lasted longer than the relationship. And then we will move on to my Victoria Beckham ones. So these I do really like these, but I don't think I would necessarily recommend them. Victoria Beckham Beauty is very luxurious. I've not used a product from her that I don't like, but she has recently put her prices up, and they were already like ludicrously expensive, and now they're even more. And I think you can get much better eyeshadows for a lot less. So these are the little quads that she does. This is one of my favorites. This is the shade Tuxedo. I love using this around Christmas and New Year for a real smoky sort of elegant kind of a look, and they are more of a subtle shadow. Then you have the shade Signature. This is one that I've used quite a lot. Really easy everyday kind of look. They're not a matte and they're not a shimmer, so they're not a flat matte. There is kind of I don't know whether you're going to be able to see, there is like a sheen to them, which makes them super easy to blend. These would be like perfect beginner palettes, but like I say, for the money, I wouldn't recommend them. I'm glad I've got them in my collection, but I wouldn't buy any more. Then I have Tweed, which is a beautiful, rich, warm toned palette. This is like a deep plum shade. Really nice colour story. And then I have an all shimmer one in the shade Silk, which is great to use with the other like all matte palettes. But again, this shimmer formula isn't blinding, it's quite soft and subtle. Luxury Beauty does tend to be more on the subtle side, I think. But this is a really pretty palette, and like I say, I am glad to have it in my collection. But I think I would rather spend the money that I paid for these on buying a palette of singles from, say, Pastel Roses or Glam Shop, because to me they are much more special and impactful. But it totally depends on what you're looking for and what sort of a look, like what makeup style that you have. Then I have a couple of YSL palettes. Both of these were given to me by my mom. So this one is the shade number 7, and this is one of the 5 colour ready to wear palettes. Little pinky purple palette, all shimmers. And then this one is the shade number 19 and is the wet and dry eyeshadows. Again, sort of pinky purple, cool tones. Very, very pretty. Then I have my Charlotte Tilbury palettes. So first up is one of my newest Charlotte Tilbury palettes. This is the Super Nudes Easy Eye palette. This is an all matte palette, but again, like the Victoria Beckham shadows, they're not a flat matte. You can see that they almost look like spongy. Really beautiful palette. I haven't actually used this on my eyes yet, but I've seen so many people rave about this palette and the formula of it, and it's such an easy palette to create a look with. Just chuck this one in your makeup bag for holiday, say with the Silk palette from Victoria Beckham, and you've got a look. Then I have the Flawless Eye Filter. This one I got on sale it had been one that had been on my wish list for a long time. It went out of stock, came back in stock, and then went on sale. And this to me is like perfect. Like, you've got an all shimmer palette. This is that baked gelée formula, like Pat McGrath's special shades. Nowhere near as impactful. These are much more subtle, but together these would be absolutely perfect. I really am glad that I managed to get hold of this palette. Then we have Pillow Talk, the very, very famous Pillow Talk. A very easy, everyday, soft, pinky toned nude eyeshadow palette. I quite like these, that they don't, you know, they don't require much creativity or thought. You know, you can create a look quite easily. Then I have Fire Rose. This was a really popular one that was a limited edition. Really beautiful. This shimmer is out of this world. Really stunning palette. Then I have Exaggerize. This is one that I had wanted for years, and my mum and dad got it me for Christmas. A more cool toned, kind of neutral palette than the others that I've got. I love this. There's 3 shimmers in here and 1 matte, but this one is like a topper, and these are like a standard shimmer formula. But I think this is really beautiful, really elegant. And then the last of the quads that I have from Charlotte Tilbury is Celestial Pearl. Again, this was one that I got on sale with the first palette, the first quad I showed you, that was like the baked gelée. Had been out of stock, came back into stock, and were on a discount. And this is another all shimmer palette. It has 1 baked gelée, and then the others are standard shimmers. But I just think this is so pretty. Such a beautiful little companion palette, and I'm really glad to have that one in my collection. And then I have 3 of the large Charlotte Tilbury palettes. So this is the first one that I got. This is Pillow Talk. This is one of my absolute favourite palettes within my collection. I absolutely love this. It's such a nice, easy palette to use. You can create a subtle daytime look to a very glam evening look. This was a birthday present of my parents. Then we have another Christmas release. This was the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise, and again, this is such a beautiful palette that can go from day to night. Really love the quality of these bigger palettes. They are stunning. And then I got this when I got the 2 quads that were discounted. This is the Instant Eye Palette Smoky Eyes Are Forever. This was a Christmas release that I didn't bother getting when it first came out, and had serious FOMO. So when it came back into stock and was discounted, I grabbed it. And this is stunning. I haven't actually used this one yet. It's beautiful. Again, you've got some very basic sort of daytime shades, and then up to like the smokiest going out eyes. And then I have 2 Patrick Tar palettes. These I haven't used as much as I would like, and both of these were gifts at Christmas from my parents. So this was the second one. This was the Major Dimension 2. Really beautiful palette. I like the fact that there are a variety of different textures in here, and I do actually like these creams. I use this one as a liner. And then this is the first palette. Really pretty palette. I don't think I've actually used this one yet. No, I haven't used this one. But yeah, I really like those. Then I have 4 palettes from Sigma. So I have 3 of the little ones and 1 full size one. So this is the mini warm neutrals. I think these palettes are great. It's quite concise, but you can do several different looks with it. Easy to travel with. I love the Sigma eyeshadow formula. The first one that I tried was the Ambiance palette, and I absolutely loved it. Oh, I forgot I'd got these 3 as well from Sigma. But yeah, I really enjoy these palettes, and the formula is incredible. I missed out on buying the big Enchanted palette, so when I saw the mini I snapped it up. Haven't used this one yet, but look at those tones, so ethereal and sort of almost whimsical looking, really beautiful. And then I have Corderosa, which was another full-size palette that I missed out on, and I think this is so pretty. I haven't used this one either. Really beautiful, great palette for the autumn. And then I have the palette that started it, the Sigma Ambiance palette. I love this. This is one of my favourite palettes within my collection. The shimmer formula is stunning, so reflective, and the mattes blend beautifully. And this brush is great quality. I really love this palette. I've taken it away a couple of times with me, and I just love it. This makes me feel very like summery. Then the other 3 that I've got are these little 9 pans. So this is the Hazy palette, which is a super cool toned mauve palette. The shimmers, as you can see, are unreal. This is a duochrome. Then we have the Ivy palette, which is obviously my favourite because of the greens. Really stunning. And then the Rosy palette, which is the one that I've used the most. Really beautiful. Again, this one is a duochrome, like pink to gold. Really love the Sigma formula. Then we have Too Faced. This is the Born This Way, the natural nudes. This was the first one that they did in this format, and my mum gave me this one. I think this is a really easy everyday kind of palette. Kind of reminds me of Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam, and it's just an easy palette to use. Then we have Dose of Colours Desi and Katie Friendcation palette. This one is another one that I can't seem to let go of. It's such an easy palette to use, but the looks that you get with it are really glamorous, like really sort of party Christmas appropriate, because the shimmers are outstanding. They are almost like an indie brand kind of formula. The gold is making it hard for the camera to see the shades, but yeah, this is a beautiful palette and I have used it quite a few times. Then we have, oh, I forgot about this Dior one. This is a very special palette to me. This was a gift off my mum and dad, and I absolutely love this palette. They're not flat mattes, they are like a satin matte, and it's another one that's so easy to wear for every day. I've used it a few times and I have absolutely loved the looks that I've created with it. It just, because it's small, like I tend to forget the smaller palettes in my collection. And then I have another Dior one. This was one my mum gave me. This is the 9 pan, and this is the Dior Backstage in Cool Neutrals, and that is so pretty. And one of my lovely subscribers, I think she asked me to do a comparison of this one and the Beauty Bay one, so I'll just put them together. So there are very similar tones within the palettes, but if I was to recommend one over the other, I would all day every day say get the Beauty Bay one. The shimmer formula in here is so subtle, it's more of a satin than a shimmer, but it depends what you're looking for. If big palettes intimidate you, you can get this in 2 different smaller versions. You can get an all matte one, which is a 9 pan, and I think it's a 16 pan, which is the midi size. This is a beautiful palette, the Dior one, and I've really enjoyed the looks that I've created with it. But if you were to like say one or the other, I would absolutely go for the Beauty Bay. For the price, it's like, I think these are 25 and these are like 50. Okay, and now we have my small Huda Beauty palettes. I know the Huda formula gets a bit of a bad rep from some people, but I love it. I think the Huda formula is stunning, and I love these little 9 pans. So I have all of the nude ones. So this is the Nude Light, and I put this in a project this year where I was trying to use each shade like a certain number of times, and I did do it. I created some really beautiful looks with it. I really enjoyed my time with this palette, and it's one that I got for my mom as well, and I just think it's a really soft, stunning palette. Then upper shade we have the Nude Medium. This is definitely more my cup of tea. I'm sorry if the lighting isn't great. I'm working in mostly natural light and the sun keeps going behind the clouds. But this is the Nude Medium. Really stunning. I love this one. And then Nude Rich, which I think is incredibly beautiful, but I find a little intimidating. I haven't actually used this one. This shimmer got damaged, so that's why it looks like that, but I haven't actually used this one. But it's really beautiful. Would be a lovely sort of going out evening palette. Then I have from the what's it, the Wild, it was just called Wild, yeah, the Wild collection that she did. I picked up the Jaguar palette, which is one of my favorite palettes within my collection. I've used this quite a few times and I absolutely love the looks that I created with it. It's such a sophisticated colour story, one that's lovely for an evening out, and the shimmers in here are stunning. Then, because I loved that one so much, I picked up the Wild Tiger. This one was in the sale on ASOS, so I grabbed it while it was in the sale. And again, I've used this a few times and really enjoyed the looks that I created with it. I think this is one that I'm going to pull into a rotation soon for the autumn, because the colour story is just screams autumn to me. I think it's stunning. And then I got, at the same time as that one in the sale on ASOS, the Khaki Haze palette. Again, I know this range got quite a lot of hate. People said the quality wasn't very good in these haze palettes, but I love this one. I've not had any issues with it. The shimmers are really stunning, the mattes blend lovely. I honestly can't fault it, and the colour story is just a bit of me. And then I have some larger Huda palettes. Obviously I do have one in my shop, my stash at the moment. I have the Rose Gold Remastered in my rotation at the moment. This is the new Nudes palette, one that I've got quite a lot of use out of. I really like this palette. I think it's so nice. I wish there wasn't the pressed glitters in here. I'd much rather have some more of these lovely like foily shimmers. But this is one that I've taken away with me a few times because it's such an easy palette to go from day to night. Really stunning. Then one of my favourite palettes within my collection is the Naughty Nudes. This is stunning. Absolutely stunning. I cannot fault this palette at all. I love the mattes, I love the shimmers, I love these like satiny marble ones. I have really thoroughly enjoyed the looks that I've created with it. Not a big fan of these like jelly ones that she puts in these palettes. For editorial looks, I suppose they serve a purpose, but they're not going to be something for the everyday makeup wearer because they're just going to crease all over the place. But apart from that, I think the palette is perfect. Then I have the Rose Quartz. This is another super soft and pretty palette. I want to get my mom this because this is my mom's colour story down to a T. It's a really stunning palette. Like I say, the looks that I've created with it are very soft. I created a nice soft pinky look using this, and I've also done more of like a cool toned kind of look. Really nice palette, and it's different as well, which is why I like it so much. Then we'll go through my Glam Shop palettes. So I have quite a few from Glam Shop. They're such good value for money, and the formula is really beautiful. So Glam Shop is a Polish indie brand, so obviously the names and everything are going to be in Polish, but this is the Tropicana palette, and this is a stunning spring palette. The shimmers are that sort of like flaky, blinding kind of formula. Beautiful. I did a look on my channel with this palette. Again, the quality of it isn't brilliant. I'm now filming on an iPhone, and the quality is like 100 times better than when I was filming with my digital camera, which I paid a lot of money for. The quality is so much better on the iPhone. This is the Celadine palette. This is stunning. I love the outer packaging of this one, and the colour story is also incredibly beautiful. I haven't used this one yet, I don't think, or have I? No, I don't think I have used this one, but this one is stunning. You've got the mints and the yellows. Love that. That's probably one of my favourite like outer packaging designs. Then we have the Zelone palette, which is an all green palette. I think they've discontinued these now, but this is stunning. If you like your greens, this is definitely a palette for you. And these shimmers, wow, really something else the shimmers are from Glam Shop. It's why I have so many of the singles from them. Then we have the Chocolate Cherry palette. I love this. I've loved the looks that I've created with this. It's such a sophisticated palette. The shimmers are incredibly pretty, and the mattes are such good quality as well. It looks like I haven't touched this palette, but I have actually used it. I'm sure I have. Yeah, I've definitely used it. But yeah, this is beautiful. I mean, look at those shimmers in the sun sparkling. You just can't compare these kind of shimmers to the ones in like Dior and Victoria Beckham. They don't come close. And then the Ballada palette. This was a collab palette that was all sort of wedding themed. And again, I've done some looks with this that I have thoroughly enjoyed. It's a great, easy to use everyday palette, but those shimmers just take it up a notch. really beautiful. The matte formula from Glam Shop is incredibly soft. They break easily, and there's an awful lot of kick up in the pan when you put your brush in there, but they blend absolutely great. I don't struggle with too much fallout on my face. I always do my base first, and I don't get into a mess with them. Just tap off the brush and they're absolutely fine. This is the Cashmere palette, and this was one that I took on a trip to see Beauty and the Beast, and I wore it on the night that I went to see Beauty and the Beast, and I was absolutely floored by the quality of this. This was one of the first palettes that I actually tried from them, and I love it. I think it's so beautiful. Don't think you can get this anymore either, but this is such a nice like evening palette to me. These cool tones are perfect for like that little black dress. I really love this palette. Then we have the Percusa palette. This, I think Percusa means seduction. This was a springtime release, and this one is beautiful. Really different, really unique. The staining that you can see on the palette is oil from these shimmers, these flaky shimmers, but they are absolutely fine. They work perfectly fine on the eye, but they are that very flaky formula, so you need to kind of use them with a glitter glue and almost massage the flakes into the skin, otherwise you'll just get a ton of fallout if you try using them with a brush. They don't really pick up with a brush, but I love this colour story. I think it's really different. I've done a few looks with this palette and I've thoroughly enjoyed every look that I've come up with. Then another indie brand. This is a UK based indie brand. I only have the one product from them. This is the Jordana Tisha Nude Divinity palette, and this is another all matte palette, a nice alternative to the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. Not a cheaper alternative because this palette is like almost £50, but it's got every possible matte shade you could ever need, like nude matte shade. There's a great variety of depth within the palette. It's a really nice one. I haven't actually used this one yet because I've had in the Glam Shop all matte palette, but next month I'll switch it out for this one, because I do like to have an all matte neutral palette in my rotation. Then we'll go through, I've got two Vive palettes, so I've got both of the original Vive and the Vive Muse. I didn't pick up the 90s one. I really wished I'd have picked that one up, but I just have too many palettes already. This is the original Vive palette. This is the Essentials. Really great formula. The shimmers are not my favourite formula. They are quite a chunky, they're not a smooth shimmer that looks very foily. They are more like a chunky, like spatter of shimmer across the lid, but the mattes blend really beautifully, and it's, again, it's, I keep saying it, it's an easy palette to use and to create a look with, and you can go from day to night really easily. It's not like a one-trick pony kind of a palette. Then we have the Vive Muse palette. This was like a more pinky mauve toned palette, and she had changed the shimmer formula for this release, so these are now a much smoother, shiny kind of a shimmer than the Essentials palette, but this one's really nice. Really, I quite like these sort of tones on my eyes. I have green eyes, and these tones make my green eyes really pop. Really nice palette. Again, I love the looks that I've created with it, and one that I will probably pull in the winter. Then we have my Nomad Cosmetics palettes. I absolutely love this brand. I want more from them. They will definitely be a brand that I will be looking at around Black Friday, because I love their formula. I love the ethos of the company, and the owners seem really lovely as well. So I've got the Haunted Europe palette. I think this has since been discontinued, which is a shame, because it's so cool. It's such a cool palette. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera, but it's got like a changing image on it. This was a Halloween release, and this colour story to me is just so incredibly beautiful. I have only used this palette once, I think, so far, and I did like a warm toned with like a blue shadow wing, navy shadow wing. I love the formula of these. I love the shimmer formula, the matte formula, and the way the palettes are laid out I think is really beautiful. And I like the fact that they sort of donate to a local charity. All their palettes are themed to a certain area, and I really like that about them. So this is the Nomad and Land of Fire and Ice palette. This is like the Icelandic palette, and this one I've used quite a few times. It's an unusual colour story for me, but I've used it quite a few times. It's one that when I had it, I couldn't stop using it. I just really like it. I like this tone of blue that's in here, like a bluey green. I like the contrasts between the very cool tones and the very warm tones. I love the story behind the palette and the names of the shades. It's really beautiful palette. Another one, similar sort of vibe to the Iceland one. This is the Nomad and Whistler Snow Lodge, and when I got this palette, they sent like a do not disturb hotel sign for the door, and some stickers and stuff, and I've put them, like I've put the do not disturb sign on my bedroom door at the caravan, and I've got like the stickers on my iPad cover. So I do really love the branding, and this palette is so pretty to me. I haven't actually used this one yet, I don't think, but I just, again, I love the blend between cool tones and warm tones in the palette. I mean, look at that blue in the sun and this blue here. Really, really beautiful. I like the imprints that they put on them. And then probably my favourite, I think, is the America's Parks palette. This screams autumn to me, and one that I will definitely be pulling into my next rotation, I think. I love this palette. It's one that I can't stop looking at it when I get it out. It's beautiful. These like marbly shimmers are so interesting. I love the names of it and the branding of it. Again, it's just, I really love this brand, and I definitely, they've just brought out another Halloween one, the it's like what's they called, like ghost towns, America's Ghost Towns. I want that one so bad. And the one from Halloween last year, the Sleepy Hollow one, I really want that one as well. And now we just have my Natasha Denona collection, my absolute favourite eyeshadow formula by far. I am a Natasha Denona stan. I absolutely love her palettes, and usually I will buy them on launch day. I don't wait for sales or anything like that. I get them on the day that they are launched. But I haven't done that recently, because I've been so focused on like drugstore makeup and building my caravan makeup collection. The new palette, the I Need a Nude palette, is a colour story that is right up my street, but I've just not been bothered to buy it. I'm trying to not buy makeup the way that I used to, and the only makeup that I have bought in recent months is for the caravan collection, and now my collection is complete, I've got no real interest in purchasing makeup. I've really had a shift in mindset where makeup is concerned. I have all these beautiful palettes that have very little usage on them, and I really just want to focus on them. And doing these videos, these collection videos, is really helping me refamiliarize myself with my collection. I have one more part of my collection to film after this one, and then I feel like I've refamiliarised myself with everything that's in my collection, and I'm ready to have like a reorganise and a tidy of my collection, and maybe declutter a few bits, because as I've been doing these videos, I have been looking at stuff and thinking, do I really want to keep that around? But the way I'm decluttering is very different this year. I'm using things and decluttering them that way. So I'm not just looking at something and saying, don't want it, don't want it, don't want it. I'm putting it into a rotation, using it, and then if I don't like it, I'll get rid of it that way. I'm not really decluttering much at the moment. Well, this year I'm more trying to use stuff than declutter. Okay, so first up we will talk about the Natasha Denona Bieber palette. This one I had on my wish list for years, and I mean that, years. I had always wanted this palette but couldn't quite bring myself to pay the price for it, and my mom, bless her heart, knew how much I wanted it, and when she received her first pension payment, she bought me this palette. So it's a really special palette. Means an absolute world to me that she did that, and to have this palette in my collection. I absolutely love it. I think it's perfect in every way. I like the fact that the shimmers are more of a subtle formula. I absolutely love her cream to powder formula, and there are a few of her cream to powders in this palette. I just love it. Like I say, I think this palette is perfect in every way. Ooh. Then my latest Natasha Denona palette is the Trio Chrome palette. I didn't pay full price for this. I got this on a massive discount, and it was never one that I was very interested in. I really only got it because it was so heavily discounted, and what I wanted this palette for was not the Trio Chromes but the mattes that are in here. I think the matte shades within this palette are really unusual, really beautiful. I haven't used it yet, but I do think it's really beautiful palette, and I'm glad that I got it for such a discounted price. Then my very first Natasha Denona palette, and the one that started off the love affair, is the Metropolis palette. This is probably my all-time favourite eyeshadow palette. I saved up for this, and when I bought this, I couldn't believe how much I'd paid for it. I had real like buyer's remorse after, because I'd never spent that much on an eyeshadow palette, but it was sort of like the spark that, you know, started my love for Natasha Denona. I think this palette is so beautiful. It's my favourite colour story I have in my collection. I love the fact that there's quite a few cream to powder in here. I love that formula. There are so many different looks that you can create with this palette. I love it. I really do. It's up there with the Bieber as being perfect in every way to me. Then we have the midi palettes. So I have the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. This is one that again, I got this on quite a big discount, and it wasn't in my radar, but I love this palette. I really love this palette. One of my favourites. The looks that I've created with it have been some of my favourites. I love it. I love the tones. It is a very late summer, autumn palette, and I think it's beautiful. Then one that I got when I got the Trio Chrome palette, this was discounted as well. This is the pastel palette. Again, it was one that I was never really interested in. I don't wear a lot of pastels, but it was discounted and I was worried that it was going to be discontinued, so I picked it up, and I'm so glad to have this within my collection. I've used it a couple of times and thoroughly enjoyed the looks that I've come out with it. It's a nice, soft, pretty spring palette and is very different from anything else in my collection. Then one of my absolute favourites, as I mentioned before, that a lot of people don't like. This is the Natasha Denona Zendo palette, and this is probably my most used one out of all my Natasha Denona palettes. You can see it's got quite a bit of usage on it. I do tend to stick to sort of this side of the palette, but I've worn this for very special occasions and I've absolutely loved the looks that I created with it. The last time I used it, I forced myself to dip into the blues, and again I really thoroughly enjoyed the look that I came out with it. I really love this palette and I don't really understand the hate that it gets. Then is the Yucca palette. This one I actually got directly from Natasha Denona's website with I think I got this one when I got the pastel palette, because it wasn't released here in the UK for ages. There seemed to be a massive delay on it, and obviously I was going to pick this one up because it is a greens palette. I haven't got round to using this one yet, but I just think this is stunning, and the shimmers in this look like next level beautiful. They're like duochromes, but yeah, love this. Can't wait to use this. I'll definitely be pulling that in this autumn. Then this one was a Christmas gift of my parents. This is the retro palette. I know a lot of people were disappointed in this palette because it didn't look like the mini retro, but I still think it's really beautiful. I think it's very sophisticated, a great one for the evening. Really like these tones. Again, they make my green eyes pop. And then we have the retro glam palette, and I think this was Natasha's sort of response to all the hate the original retro palette got, because this was much more in keeping with the mini retro. I haven't used this one yet. This is one of the newer ones to my collection, but I think this one is beautiful. I'd got this on my Christmas list and it was sold out for ages, and I managed to get it on a restock. And then this was one my parents got me for Christmas with the original retro palette. This is the My Dream palette. Again, I know a lot of people didn't like this. They especially didn't like the packaging, but I think it's lovely. I think it's really unique and stands out amongst the others. I also love this packaging. I think this is so beautiful. But this one I had for Christmas, like I say, and this one is stunning. We've got a Trio Chrome here, and it's a beautiful formula as always. It's got a few of the creamed powders that I really like, and the look that I created with this around Christmas time, like after Christmas, I absolutely loved. So really big fan of that one. And then my last two are the first two that I purchased in this size. So I got both the bronze and the glam palette not long after I got the Metropolis palette. So this is the glam palette. Really great cool toned palette, one again that I think is perfect for evenings out. I do find these cooler smoky tones very evening appropriate. These with a little black dress and a pair of heels, which I never wear because I walk like a newborn calf. But yeah, I think this one's really beautiful. I don't like the shade names. I am glad that she did change that eventually and started calling them proper shade names. because I think it's a bit confusing and a bit boring. I quite like interesting shade names. And then we have the bronze palette. This one is such a classic, and for good reason. Everybody loves this palette, and I just think it's a staple in anybody's makeup collection. This is the perfect warm tone palette. Everybody was banging on about the Morphe 350 when that first released, and I think this is the more sophisticated older sister of that. It's like, it's beautiful. I love these tones. These are my favorite kind of tones to wear on my eyes. I find it really easy to create looks with these tones, so this is an absolute staple within my collection, and one that I would never be without. And that is everything. Thank you so much for watching today. That is all of my eyeshadow palettes that I have here at home. Obviously I do have a collection of products at the caravan, but I'm not obviously sharing those in this collection. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my eyeshadow palette collection and having a little bit of a mini review on each of the palettes that I own. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye guys.